This episode of Cereal at Midnight is brought to you by cheese, now in new European flavors, available in original and now melted varieties. Cheese. Well, hello and welcome to the latest installment of Fresh Flavors. My name is Heath. This is Cereal at Midnight. What are Fresh Flavors? It's the latest releases that are hitting store shelves all across this great physical media landscape of ours. We've got a lot of ground to cover in this video. No reviews, just a look at the latest, newest arrivals from all different genres, all different distributors. We've got high art, we've got low art, we got exploitation movies, we've got art house movies. We got a lot of ground to cover here, so I'm going to launch right into it. By the way, we're outside. How did I get here? Who took me out of my room? Thought it's a beautiful autumn day, right? Why not come out and enjoy the sunshine, he says as he's in shade. Let's kick it off with a couple of Warner Brothers titles. Because these are Warner Brothers titles, I need to tell you. Warner Brothers Home Entertainment provided me with a free copy of the titles I review in this video, blog post. The opinions expressed are my own. Thank you. Let's kick it off with some discussion about Kung Fu. This is the complete first season of a new show that is, I was gonna say it's controversial, but of course it's controversial. The wind is controversial now. I like cheeseburgers. How dare you, sir? It is controversial among a certain crowd because we hold this stuff so sacred. It is a remake. It is a reboot. It's not a reboot. It is Kung Fu, this series with David Carradine, Grasshopper. If you can take the pebble from my hand, it is that idea updated for 2021. Our character is now a woman. It's an Asian American cast. Premise of the show is our lead character travels to Asia, learns martial arts, has like a walkabout, right? Goes to find herself, ends up studying at a temple, learning martial arts, cool stuff. Comes back home to America and cleans up crime, cleans up the street with martial arts. Like, that's cool. But because it is essentially this, and a lot of people are like, well, why don't we get Kung Fu on Blu-ray? Why do we got to get this? I don't know. Maybe if this sells well enough, we will get Kung Fu on Blu-ray. I love David Carradine. I love that series. I love the Western setting. It was 50 years ago. It was a half a century ago. I think it's okay that we can get something new now, a different take on it. And then you got to bring in the whole Bruce Lee thing, right? Because Bruce Lee swore, he had pitched. Let's dial back. Let's go through the sands of time. Bruce Lee had conceived a show that would be a martial arts warrior, an Asian martial arts warrior himself. He was pitching a show for himself where a martial arts warrior wandered a Western landscape. And people would tell him, he pitched this around town in Hollywood, and people would say, no one's going to watch you. You're not white. You can't be the lead of a series. So he did not get the series made. Then Kung Fu debuts, and he's like, wait a minute, that's my show. That's my show. And then the people responsible for Kung Fu were like, no, we've been working on this for a decade. It's not, no. But he's like, that's literally my show. That's everything I pitched for my show, and you've cast a white person as the lead. And then he died like a year later. So where would that be now? What would have developed in that story? It's fascinating. But it's just interesting because here we are half a century later. This feels very true to what Bruce Lee said he wanted to, the thing he was trying to create. Just switch out Western for urban, for an urban landscape, right? For the streets, for the mean streets. Because that's what's popular right now. Nobody's watching. Westerns, they're making a comeback. But really, crime. That's what people want to watch. So, a very interesting premise. It's got a lot of cool martial arts stuff. It's got a lot of the things that we want from a Kung Fu show. it's got a lot of that stuff in there. There's a Kung Fu Bond of Honor special feature, unaired scenes. It's 13 episodes. It's not a huge time commitment. And I don't know, I think it's cool because we don't have to choose. Hopefully, if this is successful enough, I know the way that corporations and these big studios think, hopefully if this sells well enough, they'll be like, well, maybe we should put out Kung Fu on Blu-ray for the old timers. Because let me tell you, there's a lot more people who are going to watch this than people who are going to watch the 50-year-old TV series. And I love the 50-year-old TV series, but there's a new, younger generation that wants to watch this. So I don't know. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just the messenger, but this is on Blu-ray now. I think it's cool. I'm glad that it exists, and digital copy, all that jazz. Also from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, we have the complete sixth season of DC Legends of Tomorrow. I dig this stuff, man. I have come so far on the CW shows. When they first started, Arrow, right? I was like, this is so silly. He's so dark, and he's like grumpy, and he's always like Cookie Monster and stuff. But I've come so far with it because they really do embrace, where Arrow started. And Arrow is the show that built this, right? They built it. Because I'm the generation, the Incredible Hulk TV series in the 70s and the 80s, and then like the Flash series in 1990. So when Arrow comes along, I'm like, they're so serious. Because I don't respond well to things that take themselves too seriously. The more serious you take something, the sillier it probably is. You have to leave room for humor, or else, especially when you have people dressed up in costumes and stuff, right? Like, just the nature of it, it is silly. But they have come so far with these series that I love them now. I know not everybody does. That's okay. That's fine. But I have come a long way with these. This series in particular can do anything. It can go anywhere. The premise of the series is it's time travel, right? It's DC Comics, DC time travel. And the way that they have laid out the groundwork for these shows, they have done interdimensional stories. They have done Elseworld stories. They have done, but this is their version of What If. Marvel has What If, DC has Elseworlds. Same thing. When you throw away all the boundaries of these shows, and you can play with the cast from the entire Arrowverse, right? Arrow, Supergirl, Flash, Black Lightning stuff, the whole thing. When you've got the whole thing there, characters that are dead can be brought back. You can recast the characters, another character from another time frame. But this is the alternate version of this character. It's like Doctor Who, right? But in the DC universe. I love it. I think it's cool. I think it's really fun. And again, because it doesn't take itself seriously, it's like, hey, let's have fun with time travel. Okay, you got it. I'm there. Never special features, Never Alone, Heroes and Allies, visual effects, creature feature, animation split screen, actors split screen, unaired scenes, and a gag reel. I'll hold that up if you would like to. Freeze frame, freeze frame. Okay. Also, I just love, they put a VHS tape on the cover. It's freaking cool, man. They go back to the 50s. They go back, there's all right. From MakeFlix. The heck? Did you guys hear that? Thought I was being attacked by a rogue squirrel. From MakeFlix, we have Teenage Exorcist. Now, this is it's only available at MakeFlix as of the recording of this video. So this is a double feature because it also has a second movie here. It's got the Channeler. But the cool thing about this movie, first, Brink Stevens. Have you guys seen my interview with Fred Olen Ray and Brink Stevens to promote the Blu-ray release of Haunting Fear? I got to talk to both of them for MakeFlix. It's on the MakeFlix YouTube channel. Hey, Future Heath, when you're editing this, speaking of time travel, when you're editing this, link to your interview with Brink Stevens and Fred Olen Ray for the Haunting Fear Blu-ray. It was a limited exclusive deal. The first 300 copies of this came with a signature, a signed card from Brink Stevens herself, the lovely, the talented, the ever so smart Brink Stevens. Now, this signed edition is now sold out, but if you order this soon, the package that the units that are sent will include this card. It will not be signed, but it will include this card. This is like a limited edition exclusive card, only at MakeFlix. Some of you guys are going to ask this too, so let me go ahead and just let you know. This is a factory pressed, factory replicated Blu-ray. This is Fred Olen Ray's Retro Media label, and I like the way that he does this stuff because Fred always gives you a ton of value for the money. Double features, like extra, whatever he can include to make you feel like you're getting your money's worth. He really does. So with Teenage Exorcist, you've got Brinke Stevens, you've got Eddie Deason, you've got Robert Quarry and Michael Berryman, you know, from The Hills Have Eyes. In the channeler, it says, there's a note here. It says, presented from the only known existing materials and is included as a bonus feature for its rarity. So that's Richard Harrison, who is Medusa against the Son of Hercules. Dan Haggerty, Grizzly Adams. Grizzly Adams had a beard. And Brenda James from Slither. So I'll hold that up for you guys. But it's at Makeflix right now. So I recommend. And again, just buy it to support Brinke. You're supporting independent cinema, right? You're supporting independent creative voices. You're supporting outlets outside of Amazon, the corporate giant, right? You're supporting independent creators, the independent marketplace. There's a lot of stuff to support there, so that's cool. Let's move on to something else that I have. Again, this is not a review video, right? I managed to get myself a copy, to secure myself a copy of The Dungeon of Andy Milligan. I'm even going to have to be careful what I show here because YouTube is so strict. I can't even show you the back of the package, I don't think, because they're going to be like, no. Those are the titles of the movies. And I have not seen any of these movies. So I need you guys. I know a lot of you guys are going to be Andy Milligan pros. There's so much stuff in here, you guys. So much stuff. This book it's not a booklet, it's just a book. It is massive. I'm going to say this is about 100 pages. 126 pages is what it looks like. So this is very similar to the Al Adamson set in the way that it's laid out. It's the book, like what if JB from F This Movie called them the little golden books? That's exactly what this is. It's like a little golden book with each Blu-ray being stuffed in one of these little pockets. But where would you start? What are some of your favorites here? I'm tempted to just tackle it chronologically because I notice, let's see, 1968, 1970, 1970. Oh, I was going to say they're not presented chronologically. The Al Adamson set was not. Yeah, this isn't presented chronologically either. So maybe I just tackle them in the order that they're put in the set to begin with. So I don't know. Where do I start? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Now from the low, we go to Criterion. We get Criterion. Some people say, Heath, you never buy Criterion releases. I rarely buy Criterion releases, but sometimes I do when they're the right titles with the right extras. See, just in case it comes up. Well, it came up because I brought it up. But I own a lot of these movies already, so I really need to know that there's a solid reason to upgrade via the special features or whatever. The involvement of C. Courtney Joyner in both of these, and Ballyhoo, Daniel Griffith's Ballyhoo Motion Pictures in The Incredible Shrinking Man, that's a sure purchase for me. That's how you get me to buy. Friends of Serial at Midnight, I guess, have so much admiration for both Ballyhoo, Daniel Griffith, and for C. Courtney Joyner. So these were easy to pick up and support. Incredible Shrinking Man, I love the movie. I love the movie. Get into this 50s sci-fi cautionary horror tale. You saw my review, hopefully, for Cold War Creatures. The love that I have for that, it's just pouring out of me, right? So this is loaded. We've got a new 4K digital restoration. Would have liked 4K. New audio commentary with Tom Weaver, who's great, David Schechter. New program on the film's special effects by effects experts Craig Barron and Ben Burt. Ben Burt, he was on the War of the Worlds Criterion release, talking about how they did the sound effects and how they achieved certain visual effects. Genius. Special effects genius. New conversation between filmmaker Joe Dante and comedian and writer Dana Gould. Those guys are always great together. Dana Gould Joe Dante is, of course, the director of Gremlins and The Burbs and all that stuff. And then Dana Gould was the head writer of The Simpsons and a monster movie lover, too. He's a monster kid. Auteur on Campus, Jack Arnold at Universal, the director's cut. Now, I believe that's the Ballyhoo Motion Pictures documentary about Jack Arnold. Love Jack Arnold. Love when he pops up in other stuff. You know, he would move to TV through the 60s. I know he's in an episode. He directed at least one episode of Gilligan's Island. He directed an episode of The Brady Bunch that Brie and I just watched. But once upon a time, he was making movies like this, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Fascinating stuff. Interview from 2016 with Richard Christian Matheson, novelist and screenwriter, Richard Matheson's son. Interview from 1983 with director Jack Arnold. 8mm home cinema versions of the film from 1969. So JB from F This Movie was just talking to us in that the Universal Monsters on 4K video that we did about how he loves getting those 8mm presentations because they take him back to when he was 11. The Lost Music of the Incredible Shrinking Man trailer teaser narrated by Orson Welles. That was not my best Orson Welles, but you got the point, right? It's an essay by critic Jeffrey O'Brien. Anyway, love booklets, love essays, got all that stuff. So full review for, that's the kind of thing that I'm going to prioritize a review for CerealAtMidnite.com. By the way, just did a website refresh, changed the look of the site. So go check it out. Tell me what you think about it. High Sierra from Criterion, Raoul Walsh, Ida Lupino, Humphrey Bogart. Good stuff. New 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monorail soundtrack. Colorado Territory, director Raoul Walsh's 1949 Western remake of High Sierra. New conversation on Walsh between film programmer David Kerr and critic Farron Smith Neme. The True Adventures of Raoul Walsh, a 2019 documentary by Marilyn Ann Moss. Curtains for Roy Earl, a 2003 featurette on the making of High Sierra. Okay. I realize at some point I'm just reading to you and you're probably like on your phone. So unless you're watching this on your phone, I'm going to hold them up for you. You can read them. C. Courtney Joyner is on this. He talked about this when he was in our video about Poverty Row, about being in, like those were coming up. He also talked to us about how he was on both of the upcoming film detective releases, The Amazing Mr. X with Turhan Bey and Frankenstein's Daughter, which both of these are cult classics but have been very disrespected in the home media platform over the years. These have been given new restorations. Well, I don't know that this one it doesn't tout a new restoration. This touts a new 4K restoration, new 4K transfer from the original 35mm elements. This came up on Instagram recently. I believe it was the Dapper Man was asking, like, what's the difference between these and some of the other stuff that Film Detective has been putting out? Because they've been doing Blu-rays for a while, but not like this. Oh, not like this. There have been about a dozen, I think a little less, maybe 11 special edition Blu-rays. And these are restorations from excellent source material, right? They're like really clean, new, good-looking restorations. Lots of special features. Ballyhoo special features on both of these, Ballyhoo Motion Pictures. This is a commentary by professor and film scholar Jason A. Ney, a full-color booklet with an essay, The Amazing Mr. Bey by Don Stradley. Mysteries exposed inside the cinematic world of spiritualism, an original Ballyhoo Motion Picture documentary. So these are not burned on demand. These are not BDRs. These are factory-pressed Blu-rays with... Look at these booklets, you guys. I mean, it's just next level. For movies like this, and I recommend all of them to you. I particularly love the Hercules, Hercules and the Captive Women. I recommend the Flight to Mars. Go check out our past videos about film detective stuff. They're fantastic. Giant from the Unknown. This includes 2 full commentary tracks, one Tom Weaver and filmmaker Larry Blameyer. Richard E. Kuna, filmmaker of The Unknown. This is amazing to me. A Ballyhoo Motion Pictures documentary featuring an archival interview with director Richard E. Kuna with thanks to Tom Weaver. Tom Weaver keeps everything, I think. He has access to so much. John Ashley Mann from The Bees, a new career retrospective featuring film historian C. Courtney Joyner. Full color booklet with original essay by author and historian Tom Weaver. Here's the back of the package. And again, pressed disc. Beautiful full color booklets. I say full color and I open it to black and white photography, but it is in color. Color. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff that gets me so excited. You know, I say sometimes, we have never been pickier as a film fandom. We have never been pickier. We're like, well, maybe when it goes on clearance. I'm like, well, it went on if it's going on clearance, you're running out of time. But we have so much. We are being served with so much new restorations and new special features, and the history of these things is being presented to us at a cost lower than ever before. And I just feel tremendously grateful for that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is a very early look at this for you guys. This doesn't come out until, I think, in November 23rd, around Thanksgiving. But this is the new 4K from Kino Lorber. This will probably be getting its own video in the future, but I wanted you to see it here so you could get those pre-orders in. 4K transfer. Look at the special features included on this thing. I mean, that's a ton of stuff. It does have the reversible artwork, the interior artwork. It's the one from the cover, right? It's that one. But Blu-ray and 4K and all those special features. So Donald Sutherland, young Jeff Goldblum, this is 1978, right? Is this 78? Yes. Brooke Adams, Leonard Nimoy, Veronica Cartwright. It's a lot of good stuff there. We'll dig into this soon, but I wanted you to know about it because that's the purpose of this video. Is, hey, look, this came out. Some people, you know, we hear all the time. People they don't shop online. They just know what's in Walmart or what's in Target, which is not much. That's almost nothing. Like 1% of what comes out each week, probably. So that's a huge service for this video. That's why we do it. Steel Dawn. Actually, this is at Walmart, or I got mine at Walmart for like $12.96 or 63 cents, something like that. It's the Patrick Swayze post-apocalyptic movie made around the same time as Dirty Dancing. Fascinating stuff. Your enjoyment of this is going to depend on how much you enjoy mid to late 80s post-apocalyptic movies. It is what it says it is. It's, you know, I mean, that's it. But for those of, I'm telling you, man, back in the 80s, this was about as good as it got. You're like, whoa. They went out and they made this movie with all these people in this wasteland, and it's got a lot of special features here. We've got audio commentary, interviews, an archival featurette, still gallery, theatrical trailer. I still need to get Dementia 13. There's a Vestron release of Dimension 13, Francis Ford Coppola's movie. 2 cuts. And it's the one that came out before Steel Dawn. It was the previous Vestron release. I need to get that. I don't have it yet. All right, we're going to get artistic here. We got a lot of independent titles that we're going to talk about. It's going to be interesting. It's interesting here because we've got Who You Think I Am. This is a Cohen Media. We've got a couple of Cohen releases here. So this is a French movie. Juliette Binoche is in this, and it's essentially kind of like a single white female kind of a thing. She's it's internet stalking, internet obsession, and well, I'm gonna read for these because I haven't watched them. Right, I haven't watched any of this, most of this stuff. But I'm going to read the back of this to you, just a little bit of it. But when her 24-year-old avatar, Clara, is friended by her ex's equally attractive roommate, a superficial correspondence quickly escalates toward intense intimacy and uncontrollable obsession. Adapted from Camille Lauren's best-selling novel and co-scripted by Julie Payer, a regular collaborator with the director. Is that the director? It blends genres and bends reality to dizzying effect. So maybe sort of like a internet stalking for 2021, for the modern world. Also from Cohen Media, we got some Merchant Ivory. We've got Pierce Brosnan in The Deceivers. Now, I've never seen this. I've seen a lot of Pierce Brosnan. What do you guys think about this? This is one of the, Merchant Ivory is like classy, very classy. So you have to do this. It's classy. New digital restoration of the Merchant Ivory classic in the early 1980s. Merchant first set in motion a project which had long dreamed, and that was, okay. I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to let you read it. Okay. But some of you guys are going to be super into this. It's 1988. I was looking for special features. I guess there are no special features, but maybe for some people looking at Pierce Brosnan in high definition is the special feature. Directed by Nicholas Meyer, by the way. Star Trek Wrath of Khan, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. This is interesting to me. Wife of a Spy, filmed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. This was shot in 8K. And we talk a lot about 4K, and people are like, 8K is coming. And I'm like, well, but there's no home media with 8K. And that's true. There's not. And few things are actually being shot. You know, a lot of stuff's shot in 2K. They master most effects in 2K. This is a movie that was shot in 8K. And of course, this is just a Blu-ray, so it's like 1/8, I guess, of the potential quality. But I thought that was interesting. Master filmmaker Kiyoshi Kurosawa won the Silver Lion, the Best Director Award at the Venice Film Festival, for this riveting, gorgeously crafted, old-school Hitchcockian thriller shot in stunning 8K. The year is 1940 in Kobe, on the eve of the outbreak of World War II. Yeah, I'm not going to read it to you. I'll let you read it. It's easy when you're talking about a movie that you have not seen to just start reading the back of it. I don't want to do that. Ma Belle, Ma Belle, My Beauty. So, okay, I guess that's the title. It's because that's the same thing, right? But in two languages. So, Ma Belle, My Beauty. Do I start this video over? No, I will not. Coming of age. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold it up. I went too far down now. Because I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I have no idea. This is interesting to me, though. Karen Dalton, In My Own Time. This is a documentary about the folk singer Karen Dalton during the 60s. And what's interesting about this, they even noted on the back, they're like, since most images of Karen have been lost or destroyed, the film uses Karen's dulcet melodies and interviews with loved ones to build a rich portrait of the singular woman and her hauntingly beautiful voice. So there's like very little physical record of this performer. I see these records sometimes, you know, I hear the folk scene, the 60s folk scene was huge. It was huge. Of course, Dylan comes out of this, and Joan Baez and people like that. The fact that we get the story of Karen Dalton is very cool. This is 70 special features? No. This is very interesting. So this is a double feature of Sergei Einstein. Einstein is a Latvian director who made like communist propaganda movies. So there are two of them here. Even the way that they've presented this, you know, they're kind of bundled together, and you see I haven't even taken the seal off of them because I wanted to show you guys. But the first one of these is a 1928 silent movie called October, 10 Days That Shook the World. So then Sergei Einstein goes to Hollywood, he travels, and he comes back to Europe and makes Alexander Nevsky with what he's learned. And it's later, right? It's the 30s, so it's not a silent movie. It's just a late 30s movie. And it's interesting that they're presenting these two movies as sort of a it's almost like a before and after, I guess. So this comes from, I believe this is Film Movement, if I can get this. That's Image. It's Image Entertainment with Corinth Films. Yeah, in case some of you guys are getting bored. Wildland. This is interesting. It sounds interesting. So it's about this family. Their mom dies, and inside the house, they're really loving and sweet with each other, and then they leave the house and go commit horrible crimes. And it's like, whoa. And then they come back to the house, and then they're sweet with each other, and it's just like they're living these two realities, and then, of course, the veil breaks, and the lives spill together. So an evocative portrait of the darker side of family, says Andrew Murray from the upcoming Denmark's answer to David McJudge's Animal Kingdom. So, you know, this is Film Movement, right? Tell me this is Film Movement. I'm looking for it. It is Film Movement. Okay. Art House Cinema. It's got the bonus short film. Writers from Denmark. Do we have any viewers in Denmark? Let me know. Curiosa. Erotic coming of age movie, Paris, the 1800s. This is not rated, so it's probably going to be pretty steamy. Did you guys see the Saturday Night Live sketch? And it's like period movie. I can't remember what it's called, but like it's just talking about how like at least once a year a movie like this comes out, where it's like an erotic coming of age story set in Europe about, you know, you guys see that? You know what I'm talking about? You're like, he's crazy. So no special features that I can see here, but you know, trying to get the glare off. And then the last are it's a 3-pack, a triple feature from a director, Isaac Chung. I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce this. This is the debut. This is the first movie from this director, I believe. Audio commentary by director Isaac Chung. Behind the scenes footage. Then I think this is. Let me consult my years really quick. Oh, I don't see the years. Hold on, 2007, 2000. Okay, so the next one is Lucky Life, which is about. It's heavy. It's an art house picture, right? It's about someone that dies of cancer, and they're at the beach, and then like revisiting the beach and the memories of what happened to the person. And then the last one has Amanda Plummer in it from Pulp Fiction, right? I'll execute every mother last one of you. I love you, honey bunny. I mean, it's Christopher Plummer's daughter, right? Anyway, this is the last film from Isaac Chung. These come from film movements, and they come from various sources. And people, I know that we're probably more interested in, you know, like the Andy Milligan stuff and talking about kung fu and stuff like that. But there are people that are genuinely interested in this stuff, because I hear from them, and they appreciate the coverage of more artistic fare. So I'm happy to cover all of it, and we get to talk about Curiosa while we're at it. So guys, that's going to do it for this Fresh Flavors. Which of the ones are your highest priority? Which are the ones that you want to see reviewed first? And remember, I really want some help on that Dungeon of Andy Milligan box set, where to start. I guess even expectations, right? I have no expectations. I've been through the Al Adamson set, right? So I think I know what I'm dealing with there, but let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much. Take care until next time. Here's where to go and what to do.